What's up, Campus Outreach staff? It's Matty B here, and this video is intended to be your orientation for this week's staff assessments. I would ask that you watch this sometime before Wednesday at 9 a.m. By doing it this way, we'll be able to gather Wednesday at 9 a.m., have a brief devotion, and then instead of doing an assessment orientation, we can take a few minutes and you can get to know your assessors before they begin to ask you about all your deepest and darkest secrets. Just kidding. That's not going to happen. But we want you to get to know us. So what I'd like to do in the next few minutes is to do three things. Number one, what is assessments? I want to try to give you a word picture to conceptualize what we're hoping happens this week. Number two, why assessments? Why did Campus Outreach begin doing assessments? And then number three, what can you expect? So we'll start with what is assessments. And this is the picture I'd like you to think about. In 1989, there was a guy named Jans Molbach. He was a student at Stanford University, and he sat in his dorm room at his desk, and there on his desk was a large jar of coins. I don't know if you guys remember, we used to have this version of money called coins, pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, etc. Well, he had this large jar, and there was no easy way to add it up so that he could benefit from it. Back in the day, you had to take pennies, and you had to put a certain amount of pennies in a roll and a certain amount of nickels, and you had to roll them up perfectly and take them to the bank. And Jans Molbach thought there's got to be a better way to add up everything I've accumulated so that I could benefit and my roommates, we could benefit. I could buy pizza for everybody. And so he created Coinstar. Coinstar, if you've ever been to a grocery store, you see this big green machine where you just dump your coins in. It's a system and a service that quickly adds up what you've accumulated so that you and others can benefit from it. That's the best description that I could give you for what the assessments is. We believe that as you go through the years on staff, that you're constantly accumulating, not necessarily coins, but you're accumulating information about who you are. You accumulate this through successes and failures and frustrations and things that you quickly jump at and things you postpone, people that you consistently work well with or those you don't. You're gathering all this information, and the assessments is intended to be a process where we create a system and a service to help you add up what you've learned about yourself so that you and others can benefit from it. There are so many things about you that you have consistently heard or experienced over the years, and we just want to help you add it up so that you could benefit from it. So that's what assessments is. The second thing is why assessments. So Campus Outreach was started in 1978, and it wasn't until 2012 that the assessments were started. 34 years in between. What was it that we learned during 34 years that caused us to say we need to make assessments an essential part of the staff laborer development process? I'll say three things. 34 years in, there had been so much to celebrate. Number one, a remarkably high percentage of people that were involved in campus outreach came to faith during their time on campus. We celebrated that. Number two, as campus outreach began to expand in explosive nature, like 1978, CO Birmingham. 1988 was the first expansion, CO Augusta. And then within the next 10 and 20 years, explosive expansion. And they were staffed by fruit that Campus Outreach raised up. That's discipleship. So first celebration, explosive evangelism, explosive discipleship. The third is that Campus Outreach in the first 34 years really did live out its model of being a ministry to the church and a mission of the church. So there was so much to celebrate. That said, 34 years in, the leaders did acknowledge three things. Number one, the staff pace is so fast, too much, too fast, all at once. We've got to build in strategic points of reflection, evaluation, and learning. And the most obvious points to build these times of reflection and learning in are what we call the turns. You come on staff and you're a campus staff, and then about 3 to 4 years in, usually you do a turn and you're providing campus leadership. Another 3 to 4 years in, there's usually another turn where you're providing staff leadership. Another 3 to 4 years in, there's another turn where you're providing movement leadership. We said, let's put a process in at those turns, 3 to 4 years, 7 to 8 years, 10 to 12 years of reflection, evaluation, and learning. That was the first thing we saw. The second thing that we saw is that we want to build in something that acknowledges our long-term vision. The CO mission statement is to glorify God by building laborers on the campus for the lost world. It's not on the campus for the campus. It's on the campus for the lost world. Our vision is that what God is doing in your life now and my life now is actually going to continue forward for decades to come. We used to, back in the day, 20 years ago, we talked about the 40-year-old laborer. And everybody would go, oh. Like we had all these young staff. We said, what would it look like if we were 40 years old and still laboring? Well, we've passed 40-year-old labor. We've passed 50-year-old labor. We're seeing 60-year-old laborers, etc. But the point is that Campus Outreach said, let's build in strategic points of reflection, evaluation, learning, and let's focus them not only on the campus, but on what you're learning about how God has made you that you can apply for the next 10, 20, 30 years. So it's a long-term vision. And then the third thing was, let's celebrate a holistic view of health. It's easy to think in ministry that health or success is due to your product, what you produce. In other words, if what you are doing is good, you must be doing good. But we know that over the course of time, that health and leadership is more than just what you produce. It's not only your product, it's also your process, how you do what you do, and it's your personhood, who you become along the way. Success or health is product, what you do, plus process, how you do it, plus personhood, who you are. So we want to build in something that celebrates a holistic view of success. You take those three, strategic points, reflection, evaluation, learning, a long-term view of success, and a holistic view of success, and you get the CO assessment process. What can you expect? We are going to assess you in 3 different areas. First is health, which is how are you? How are you doing? Second is design. Who are you? Do you understand your wiring, your makeup, your God-given design? And lastly is vision. Why are you? Why are you doing what you're doing? So how are you doing? Who are you? And why are you doing what you're doing? Health, design, and vision. And here's how it's going to work. On Wednesday, you're going to have 3 interviews. You're going to have an interview with an assessor focused on health, one focused on design, one focused on vision. You're going to meet with them for about an hour. They're going to ask you questions. You're going to do all the talking, and they're going to be listening. They might be just bouncing back and forth, but they're just gathering information. They've read the 360 reports that people filled in about you. They've read your life map. They've read your report, and from that, they're just going to be asking you questions about health, design, and vision. And again, the goal is that we can bless you for not only now, but the long haul by helping you add up some things about yourself so that you can benefit from them and those around you as well. So you have these hour interviews, and then there'll be an hour break where the assessors will be able to summarize their thoughts. And then at the end of the day, you've had 3 interviews. We're encouraging you to have an optional, sorry, my phone almost dropped, an optional staff dinner. It's optional, but we encourage you to get to know those you're going through assessments with. You'll get a good night's sleep. And then on Thursday, we'll gather for a little devotion in the morning, and you'll have an hour-long slot where we give you feedback. And it's where we summarize 2 things. Number 1 is affirmations. We're going to affirm you in your health and your design, your vision. And then we're going to give you a few developmental considerations. From what we've heard and what we've read, here are some things that we think that you can take your health, your design, your vision to the next level in the years ahead. And then we'll give you some recommendations. Once you're done with the debrief, your assessments are finished. You can go home. You can hang out. We will have lunch on Thursday. And then lastly, sometime the following week, you will be shared via email your assessment debrief, full summary of everything we told you on Thursday, and then you're going to get access to all your reports, and you'll be able to read those. So that's the process. What is it? It is Campus Outreach's version of Coinstar, a system and a service that helps you add up what you've learned about yourself so that you and others can benefit from it in the future. Why? Because we want to establish consistent periods of reflection, evaluation, learning. We want to take a long view. This isn't just about making you better next week on the campus. It's bigger than that. And we want to have a holistic view of success. And then what to expect. You'll be interviewed, and then you'll have a time where we'll share our thoughts with you. We're so excited to see you. Thank you for going through this process. I consistently say that assessments are, in many ways, it requires the most of us. And I'm thankful that it also tends to bring out the best of us. And it's such a gift for you. And we're trusting that God would make it. See you on Wednesday.